Okay, here are a few examples calculating, again, some probabilities. And again, you're going to see that all of these involve some method of counting. And, these are sometimes called contingency tables, where it's just a way of organizing all the data. This is sometimes referred to even as a two-way table, where we have, say, the rows representing the party of these people in terms of political affiliation, and then the columns are going to refer to the various responses and to some sort of opinion or bill or something. Here I guess it's an opinion on the bill, but in terms of what they think, or the position they take on the political issue. And so there are two variables, right? There's one over here where their party affiliation, and then two, their position, let's just say. And so, we can ask these questions in a variety of different ways. And this one's pretty simple here. It just says, well, what is the relative frequency of respondents who are Democrat? Okay, so in other words, they're just saying, it kind of evolves down to this question, what would be, like, for instance, if I know it's not stated in terms of probability, what's the probability of selecting one of these 288 people that are Democrat? Okay. And we would do that is we would just take the number of Democrats, right, and add them up, and then divide by the total number of people if they had equal likelihood of being selected, and that would be that probability, which turns out to be about 0.4 here. And again, that would be rounding to 2 decimal places. I'm not going to hit the equals button because all this will disappear. I'll do that right at the end. And so all we're doing is we're just kind of phrasing that question. They're just looking for the relative frequency of respondents, which could be replaced with the word probability. Okay. And that's all I was trying to do here. So, again, we get into this, battle and statistics, where you're dealing with, new terms, vocabulary, and it gets, sometimes a little bit overwhelming, and it's just going to take time. Okay. So I'm going to hit the equal sign here now, just to show you that that does turn out to be about 0.40. And again, if you don't round correctly here, I know that's a elementary school math skill that we're referring to there. But, again, ALEKS will mark you wrong if you don't round correctly. So, okay, so there's that one here. So it was just, we added up the number in rows. Now, I think if I just kind of scroll through here, and by the way, I was using that ALEKS calculator here. We'll see if we need it again here. Again, we got the same type of thing now. Now it's once the relative frequency of who are opposed to the bill. Well, that would just be, again, adding up the column in this case. Last time we did the row, this time we're doing the column. So I'm not going to do that one. Let's get in another one, because some of these are worded a little bit differently. With favor the bill, that again would be a column. Okay, here's one here. So now, of all the respondents, what is the relative frequency of those who are Democrat and also indifferent towards the bill? Okay, so now we can go ahead and do that. Would be just these 38 people fall into that particular category. So we're taking a look at the value of, let's say, 2 of the variables here. One is their party affiliation, and the other is their political stance or political opinion, whatever term you want to use for that variable. But there are 38 here. So if I use the solve, that would be 38 out of the 319. And so let's see, so if I would just go ahead and take that 38 and I would divide by the 319 just to verify this is indeed, turns out to be 12%, and we rounded there to 0.12. There you go. Okay, so I sometimes we're adding up a column to find out the desired outcome, and again, it just depends on what we're dealing with right here. I guess that's kind of covering all that up there. Let me just slide that over there. So this one here, because it took into account a value from the row and the column, that was just an individual cell. But before we were talking about the relative frequency of those were in favor, well, we would just add up the column total, or Democrats or Republicans, we add up the row total. And like I said, when we combine those, then we're looking at a cell here. And again, you just have to read that. So that was the one thing I wanted to illustrate or emphasize here. And the other one, again, is this idea of relative frequency is a fraction or a ratio or a proportion, or sometimes, again, we can word this in the context of a probability. So once again, if I had 319 people, what is the probability that out of that 319 I randomly select? That means all 319 would have equal chance of being chosen. Of those who were Democrat and also indifferent to the bill, well, that would just be the 38 divided by the 319. Okay. So again, not worded in terms of probability, but relative frequency can be used to determine a probability as well, because they're essentially the same thing in terms of how we compute those. All right, so that's it for this video, and we'll be back with another.